I saw a small white kitten with a wire tied to its jaw, injured with teary eyes. I picked him up in my arms and rushed straight to get a taxi. That scene is always in my mind, and I know it would shock you too. What happened? What is the truth behind this? Please subscribe and comment, "I love cats," and tell us where you are watching from. By doing just this little bit, we make a huge difference. One subscribe and one comment is exactly like giving a donation, because the video reaches more hearts, more eyes, and more ears, and we raise awareness for a whole population. I also want to know how you would act in this situation. Would you have done something different? Leave a comment.
The day had begun as a testament to everything that was wrong with my life at that moment. A gray, suffocating Tuesday that felt less like a collection of hours and more like a physical weight pressing down on my shoulders. I worked in a glass-walled office downtown, the kind of place that prided itself on transparency but felt entirely devoid of human warmth, and my boss, Mr. Henderson, had spent the better part of the afternoon dissecting my latest project with a level of scrutiny that bordered on cruelty. We had clashed over deadlines, over budgets, and over the fundamental direction of the work, leaving me feeling small, undervalued, and completely drained of motivation. When I finally walked out of the building, the sky had matched my mood, bruising into a deep, angry purple before unleashing a cold, relentless rain that soaked through my coat within seconds, chilling me to the bone as I trudged toward the subway. By the time I reached my apartment building, I was shivering and miserable, my mind stuck on a loop of angry retorts I hadn't had the courage to say to my boss's face. My building was an old, pre-war structure, charming in the daylight but gloomy in the storm, and of course, the elevator was out of order again. I stared at the out-of-service sign with a heavy sigh, shook the excess water from my umbrella, and began the long climb up the stairs to the 4th floor. The stairwell was dimly lit, the air smelling faintly of dust and old concrete, and the only sound was the rhythmic clack-clack-clack of my heels on the stone steps. I was on the first landing, just turning the corner to head up to the 2nd floor, when a sound cut through the silence of the building. It was so faint at first that I thought it might be the wind whistling through a crack in the window, but then it came again, a low, gurgled cry, a sound of pure, unadulterated distress.
I stopped dead in my tracks, my hand gripping the railing. "Hello?" I whispered into the gloom, feeling a sudden spike of adrenaline. The cry answered me, louder this time, desperate and wet. I followed the sound to the corner of the landing, where the shadows were deepest, and there, huddled against the cold wall, was a tiny ball of white fur. It was a kitten, soaking wet, shivering so violently that its entire body was a blur, its fur matted with mud and grease. My heart broke instantly at the sight, but as I crouched down to get a closer look, the heartbreak turned into a shock so visceral it nearly knocked the wind out of me. The kitten lifted its head to look at me, and I gasped, my hand flying to my mouth to stifle a scream. The kitten's face was a mask of tragedy. His eyes were wide and glassy, filled with actual tears that spilled over red, swollen rims. But it was his jaw that made my stomach turn. Wrapped tightly around his lower mandible was a thick silver wire. To my horrified eyes, it looked like a torture device. The wire was twisted and knotted, forcing his mouth into a grotesque, fixed grimace, digging into the soft fur and skin. It looked as though someone had deliberately tied his mouth shut or broken his jaw and bound it with construction wire. The sight was barbaric. I felt a wave of nausea crash over me, followed immediately by a white-hot flash of rage. Who could do this? What kind of monster could look at a creature this small, this innocent, and inflict such calculated cruelty? The kitten let out another meow, but the sound was strangled and muffled by the wire, a cry of pain that tore through me. I didn't think twice. I didn't care about my wet clothes, my exhaustion, or the dinner waiting for me upstairs. I reached out, my hands trembling, and gently scooped the kitten up. He flinched, expecting pain, but he was too weak to fight. He felt impossibly light, just a fragile collection of bones and feverish heat. "I've got you," I sobbed, tucking him inside my coat to shield him from the damp air. "I've got you, baby." I turned around and ran back down the stairs, bursting out of the front door and back into the pouring rain. I stood on the curb, frantic, waving my arm wildly at the blurred headlights passing by. "Please stop," I begged the city. "Please."
A yellow taxi finally screeched to a halt, spraying water onto the sidewalk. I wrenched the door open and dove into the back seat. "The animal hospital on 5th Avenue," I choked out to the driver, who looked at me in the rearview mirror with wide eyes. "Please hurry, it's an emergency." The driver, seeing the hysteria in my face and the bundle in my arms, didn't ask a single question. He just hit the gas, weaving through the traffic with an urgency that matched my own beating heart. During that ride, 1,000 questions raced through my mind, each one darker than the last. I looked down at the kitten, whose head was resting weakly against my chest. Why did people do this? Was it kids in the neighborhood? Was it a sick individual who enjoyed pain? The wire looked so deliberate, so tight. I felt a profound sense of shame for being human, for belonging to the same species as the person who had done this. The kitten whimpered, his eyes locking onto mine with a plea for help that transcended language. "Hang on," I whispered, stroking his wet head with my thumb. "We're almost there." When we burst into the veterinary clinic, I was a mess of rainwater and tears. I ran to the reception desk, shouting for help. I found a kitten. Someone tied a wire around his jaw. The lobby went silent. A vet tech rushed out from the back, taking one look at the bundle in my arms and ushering me immediately into an exam room. Dr. Evans, a tall man with a calm demeanor, entered seconds later. I placed the kitten on the stainless steel table, the bright fluorescent lights illuminating the horror of the injury. The skin around the wire was angry and red, oozing infection. "I found him in my stairwell," I stammered, wiping mascara from my cheeks. "He was crying. Look at what they did to him." Dr. Evans pulled on a pair of blue latex gloves and leaned in, his expression serious. He gently touched the wire, and the kitten hissed through his teeth. I braced myself for the doctor to confirm my worst fears, to tell me about the cruelty of humans. But as he inspected the twist of the metal, his expression changed from concern to recognition. He stood up, walked to the computer, and began typing rapidly. "Ma'am," he said softly, turning the screen toward me, "this isn't torture, not in the way you think." I stared at him, confused. "What? Look at him, it's a wire." "I know," Dr. Evans said, his voice steady. "I recognize this work. I performed this surgery myself 10 days ago." The room seemed to spin. You did this?" I asked, incredulous. Dr. Evans nodded. "This kitten was brought in by a young woman, a student. He had been hit by a car and his lower jaw was shattered, a bilateral fracture. It was completely unhinged. If we hadn't acted, he would have died of starvation. This is a cerclage wire. It's a medical technique used to hold the jawbones together so they can fuse and heal. It's reconstructive surgery." I looked back at the kitten, my perspective shifting violently. The wire wasn't a weapon, it was a cast. But why is he alone in my stairwell? Why does it look so infected? Dr. Evans sighed, looking at the kitten with deep pity. "That is the tragedy here. He was discharged to the student, Sarah. She paid for the surgery out of her own pocket, depleting her savings. But clearly the wound has become infected and the wire has shifted out of alignment. He must have been rubbing it against things in pain or trying to get it off. He must have escaped." He gently lifted the kitten's lip. "We need to operate immediately. The infection is severe and the wire is cutting into healthy tissue now because it moved. We need to clean this up and resecure it or he'll lose the jaw entirely." "Do it," I said instantly, the anger in my heart replaced by a desperate need to save this survivor. "Whatever it costs." As they whisked the kitten away to surgery, I asked the receptionist if they had Sarah's contact information. I needed to know the full story. After a brief hesitation regarding privacy, the receptionist made a call and then handed me the phone. "She's crying," she whispered. "She's been searching for days." I took the phone, my hand shaking. "Hello? Sarah?" The voice on the other end was hysterical. "Is it Snowy? Did you find him? Oh my God, is he alive?" I explained everything, how I found him, the state of the wire, the emergency surgery he was currently undergoing. Sarah broke down completely. She explained that she was a student living in a loud dorm with roommates who weren't careful. She had rescued the kitten from the road after witnessing the car accident, but she had no money left. The kitten, traumatized and in pain after the surgery, had panicked when a roommate dropped a heavy pan, jumping out a ground floor window and vanishing into the city. "I've been putting up posters everywhere," she sobbed. "I felt like I failed him. I saved him just to lose him. I can't afford another surgery. I don't know what to do." Listening to her, I realized this wasn't a story of cruelty, but a story of overwhelming circumstances. It was like a movie, the missed connections, the tragedy, the coincidences. "Sarah, listen to me," I said firmly. "I'm paying for the surgery. He's going to be okay. He found me for a reason." We stayed on the phone until Dr. Evans came out 2 hours later, looking tired but smiling. The surgery was a success. They had cleaned the infection, removed the damaged tissue, and rewired the jaw properly. In the days that followed, I visited the kitten in the clinic every day. Sarah came too, and we met over the metal cage where the little white cat lay recovering. She was young, kind, and clearly loved him, but she looked at me with sad resignation one afternoon. "He needs a quiet home," she said, watching him sleep. "He needs stability to heal, and I can't give him that right now. He ran to your building, Elena. I think he chose you." It was a bittersweet moment, but we both knew she was right. I decided to adopt him. I named him Casper. Bringing him home was a challenge that reshaped my entire life. For weeks, he couldn't eat solid food. I had to blend a special high-calorie mixture and feed him through a syringe every few hours. I would wake up in the middle of the night, exhausted from work, and sit on my kitchen floor with Casper wrapped in a towel, slowly pushing the plunger as he eagerly lapped up the food. In those quiet, intimate moments, the stress of my job, the anger at my boss, and the grayness of the city melted away. I wasn't unmotivated anymore. I had a purpose. This little creature, who had survived a car, a broken jaw, an infection, and a terrifying escape, looked at me with absolute trust. 6 weeks later, Dr. Evans removed the wire for good. Seeing Casper yawn fully for the first time was one of the most beautiful sights I had ever seen. The scar is barely visible now, hidden under thick white fur. He is no longer the scrawny, terrified ghost on the stairs. He is a vibrant, playful, and incredibly affectionate cat. He is my best friend. When I come home from a hard day now, I don't see an empty apartment. I see Casper waiting at the door. This experience taught me so much. I had assumed the worst of humanity when I saw that wire. I assumed malice where there was actually a failed attempt at healing. The wire was a symbol of trauma, yes, but it was also a symbol of the effort to fix what was broken. It took a village to save him, the student who scraped together her savings, the doctor who operated, and finally me, who provided the sanctuary. Thank you for reading my story. It's been an emotional journey, and Casper sends his love and a little purr to all of you. Please, if this story touched your heart, remember to subscribe and comment "I love cats" below. Tell me, have you ever rescued an animal? Did they end up rescuing you? I want to hear your stories in the comments. Let's build a community of kindness, one comment at a time.